Now let's shift our focus to challenge what's every founder's mind, AI. It's the talk of the town, but is it really the silver bullet for your business? Can artificial intelligence actually solve your most pressing challenges? Or is it just another shiny tool that drains resources if misapplied? In this session, AI won't save your business unless your problem is real. Our expert speakers will cut through the hype and show you how to apply AI where it truly matters. You will learn how to identify the right problems, implement technology strategically, and drive real results without wasting time or resources. So please join me in welcoming Giju Eldhose, the founder of Zelco Inc., and Rick Lowe, executive creative director and founder of Rick Lowe Design. And please welcome them to the stage.
So Giju and we met 2 days ago, which is in a conference time frame like 80 years ago. So we've been working on what we have in common on this topic. AI is like the thing you hear 1,000 times during this conference and in your life. And so like you as founders, as people who are developing product, selling what you're doing, it's unavoidable, right? Like we know that. Um, Giju is a developer. Giju is a developer, develops software. He'll talk more about what he does. And I don't know if I'm going to be repeating myself for this room since I had a panel all of 2 hours ago and kind of talked a little bit about myself. But I'm a designer and work with software development all the time. So we kind of run the spectrum of when something becomes software and then has to become a product in the world and how that works. And so I've spent my career working with developers, engineers, and you have spent your career. I think we have to like look at each other because we're fireside. Um, and you spent your career working with people like me to put shape and form and experience to
Exactly.
the software.
Yeah. So the place where I come from is mostly uh, building things when translating from the vision and when it has some shape or form. It could be as simple as like a founder saying like, "Hey, I want to solve this problem." It could be as abstract as that. Then we work with, of course, people like designers, who transform that vision into an experience, right? If you look,
Exactly. Yeah.
that experience need not be an app. It need not be a website. It could be anything that uses human senses to deliver a solution, right? So,
So the glue or the thread in this conversation between us is um, the unavoidable nature of AI in our product, in our craft, in our expertise. What role does it play? And more importantly, what role does it play in the people who hire us? How do we utilize it to um, do our job better, perhaps, or maybe not, or have it be more successful for our clients because of this radical change in these tools that we have access to?
yeah.
Full disclosure, I love AI as it's part of my creative process. It's a remarkable innovation that I've never seen accelerate so fast, and it's something that I have embraced in our work quite a bit. But it's a tool, and so we'll talk more about that. So you can maybe fast forward
Yeah.
or click. AI. Yeah, right. So like another session on AI. I get it. So thank you for all being here, first of all,
Yeah.
because you probably have seen a few, um, and that's really what we're trying to figure out. So the session, you want
Yeah.
to walk us through this?
So we go with the first part is like AI is a powerful tool, but it won't salvage fundamentally flawed business model, right? So if you so we are talking about a lot of times when something shiny new thing comes up, people have this tendency to kind of just chase around it. A lot of businesses do this mistake, right? So but you have to kind of, what is important is you have to identify a problem which is relevant, then only use that for, use the tool to solve it. And also there are certain problems that it can solve well, certain places you shouldn't use it. You need not use it. So we will classify them as well. uh, then this is the part that we just mentioned. uh, then yeah, this is the part where we'll throw in our practical insights in terms of
To AI or not to AI
yeah.
is the question, right? I think it's becoming less of a question to not AI, but it's a question of when and how, right? And we can talk a little bit more what we see in our business practices and how that shows up.
Yeah.
So I'm Rick Lowe, and forgive me if I'm doing my introduction again that you guys have seen earlier, but I've got 3 decades in building brands. I run a design consultancy out of the Bay Area. We're an international agency. For the purpose of this conversation, a big part of our work practice is working with private equities, portfolio companies, software B2B companies that have been acquired that are 25 to $500 million. Now we do a lot of consumer work too, but and that doesn't mean that the AI conversation doesn't apply to that. But what we find is that when we work with a software company that's been acquired, there's a huge gap they have to cover really quickly. They have to get to be more successful, bigger. And there's not a software team that isn't thinking about how to build AI into that solution. So we're already coming to the table with, they have a gap to close. Their engineering team, which you'll speak more about, is going to figure out how to embrace that technology so that their product is better and more competitive than the other people in their category, the other companies.
Yeah. So this is the next slide is one of my favorite slide in the deck, because for all this day you might be kind of facing a lot of
Before
boring
you
stuff.
hit it, I'll just say thank you. I just say that when I go to conferences, they tend to be more visually engaging because I'm a designer, and there's good things and bad things about that. But I thought this would be a good opportunity to actually show you what I do in a 2-minute reel. And what I'll tell you is there's a lot of those B2B clients that we have worked with that we've taken from being something that was a good company and been part of turning them into a great company that then produces either a 2x or a 10x exponential growth in their value. That's the game we play. We like to think that as part of that organization, that the brand that they didn't know how to build, we help them articulate, and it becomes a much bigger success. In the work you're going to see, the other side of this conversation for me, the part that I love for me and my firm, is that we use AI in the creation of many of the branded assets we create, unique branded assets for every program. So it's my show reel. I just pulled it together. It probably should be shorter, but you'll get like a sense of like the majority of the work is generated. Well, I don't know majority, but there's a good percentage of the work that is been generated through Midjourney, which you probably know as an image AI program. But what it's going to show you is that it's incredible power that we have to visualize something and have a set of tools in your toolbox that didn't exist a year, 2 years ago. So it's a phenomenal opportunity.
Yeah.
It has sound. Hopefully it'll play.
Okay.
Did you hit it?
Yeah, yeah. I do.
3, 2, 1.
Turn it up. Oh, so much for that. It's not moving there either. Yeah, I had a hunch we might have some bandwidth issues. All right, so much for that. Get a little bit of it. Oh, maybe it's caching. Yes. Okay, good. So our work is really about putting branded systems together, building assets, creating unique assets for our clients. And so, when we're thinking about how we take care of our clients, how do we create those? Do we work with illustrators, photographers? Yes, we do. And we have for a long time. But how do we actually bring this set of assets so that the client has easy access to them, and then they can continue to build those programs beyond that? And so it's great to be able to make that process happen quicker, not be so cost restrictive. What happened to the volume? Gone? These are all B2B software companies, with the exception of maybe Nike that you saw. These are all companies that are inventing software that are evolving with the use of AI. All these people, this is basically a series of fitness clubs in Thailand. All those people we generated because we didn't have the budget to go to Thailand, and we needed to represent them. So I'm going to hand it back to you.
Yeah. So the good thing about here is, like, this is a place where, because you've used AI, right? So this particular one, couple of things that came in our conversation was the advantage of when you are building something like this, how it benefited you, right? That is a credible use of work where AI was substantially
How it benefited me?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
so the question you
Yeah.
were asking me is how it benefited me.
What was it before for you, and how did it kind of
Right.
before AI and after AI?
It liberated my ideas. It liberated my team's ideas. It's empowering to be able to visualize, to create your vision and to visualize it. Of course, there was a whole conversation about strategy that we had earlier, but like when we're just talking about AI, to have a concept that you can construct out of thin air. Like, I remember the first time I worked in Midjourney, it was just coming in a frame out of this black sort of box, and it would just start to come. It was like Star Trek, and then it just realized it's got this endless power to it. So it expedited the thinking, and it made for, I think, a more unique expression.
And how did it benefit your clients?
Well, they kick ass after they get these programs. It's like, how do you differentiate in a category that's very competitive? There's a whole brand strategy conversation, but the articulation of that differentiation, that positioning, is a set of assets, a set of tools that they have to work with to take their brand forward, right? And so they get the benefit of a very unique brand expression, the consistency of how it's applied over time. And they also have the ability, when they have creative team internally, to extend it to continue to make it.
Okay.
It's not like we had an illustrator we're used to work with, on a project, we would hire an illustrator, 10 illustrations. Those illustrations would be part of the initial brand, but they get stale, and then you're just investing. And it generates enthusiasm on the brand implementation side, the internal side, because then they have the power to express themselves in the framework we set up. So we find our clients really embrace generating assets with the right kinds of prompting and all that. So
okay, that's great.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah. Because that is something that I guess the audience would want to know, because what is the benefit they get if they engage with you?
Yes, thank you. Yeah,
exactly. So this is a quick introduction about myself. So I I'm the founder of Scalo. We help small and medium businesses to scale using technology. That is our core motto. And the context for this conversation for me is over the last 20 years, I worked with, different companies of different sizes, and I've seen a lot of companies flourish and some of them fail. So that particular, insight is something that I want to share here.
Great.
So this is our company. So we right now we work when we work with you, we kind of try to understand where you are, kind of design a problem, understand the problem statement and design a solution. We deploy and kind of make sure that that particular deployed solution brings in ROI for you, right? So now we will start with the kind of the process, right? This is a generic. This is a system that anybody can adapt. So
I was just going to add.
Mhm.
So you're walking us through to AI or to not AI or how to AI.
Exactly.
As a developer, he's got his toolkit. He's got his team, and development costs are an enormous amount of cost and time. How do you use this powerful tool to benefit your clients? And when do you feel like there's a version of it that you don't need?
Mhm. So one thing that has become quite evident these days is not just like AI is helping you with expanding your horizons and something that used to kind of cost more, like the shoot that would have been if you were doing that in Thailand or Asia, it would have been more.
Mm-hmm.
Now you could do that from your sitting at your desk. So the same way, there is a cost and time advantage that AI has brought into development aspect as well, because what we see is a developer is extremely productive because sometimes previously a task that used to take something like a week can be done in a day, right? Now that the advantage is for the founder or the team who's building the particular product, they have a faster time to market, right? The next is cost benefits, because previously it used to take 3 developers or 5 developers 6 months. Now this is pretty much getting done in a month's time, right? uh, Iterations are so fast. So these are the benefits that we are able to kind of see and deliver to people who we work with.
So there's an economy. Is that economy something you pass on and realize to your clients?
Yeah.
Does that mean they pay less,
In
or
effect,
do they pay more?
right now, in totality, if you look at the clients should be paying less right now,
Because
because from the effort standpoint, what we are doing before and now it's same, because AI is doing a lot of work. Now, of course, there is a token cost that comes in, which will be an offset, but in the net result is the clients get the benefit. That's what the reality is.
so that economy that economy that you're able to realize in your process in your workflow um, saves, like, what's an average time frame that you would do on a piece of software, and what do you think it cuts back in terms of that time? Do you have a way to have that metric?
Yeah, roughly what I said is what it comes to, because there is it is actually an exponential benefit for customers, because the time goes down, right? Development time.
But like by 10%, 20,
Oh,
30?
we see at least by 100.
So you cut 100 would be that.
Yeah,
Really?
and more than that. Yeah, basically, if something that used to take, say, 6 months to build, that would happen right now in easily 3 months.
Okay. So, and you're setting that expectation with the client ahead. You're confident
Yeah,
that you have a tool set that you can make that promise.
exactly. Yeah, that is, and to a great extent, most of the companies that are adopting, that is the baseline right now.
That's the baseline.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're competing against people who can do the same thing,
Exactly.
supposedly,
Yeah.
in that same time frame. So now it's not a competitive advantage for you. It's more that it's the level playing field that you have to be part of.
There is one aspect there, because the tool is available there. Everyone will be using it. For example, Midjourney is available there. but what you build and somebody else builds is different.
So the intellectual capital
Yeah,
that you bring to that problem solving,
exactly.
even though it can happen quicker, is uniquely yours.
Exactly, because it's mostly about this particular aspect, right? A is kind of kind of raising the floor. That's what they say, right? You can, of course, it enables you to do more, but the ceiling is pretty much what your experience was before, right? So it helps everybody go up, but whoever had that like intellectual advantage before would still keep it.
So you don't have a choice, but is it better for you? Do you find what you do to be more enjoyable? You're more passionate about it. Do you have a different audience that you're speaking to that it opens up?
So from passion standpoint, definitely, because ultimately, if you look at, we are problem solvers, right? If you're able to solve things faster without doing the mundane things again and again, we would be happy with it, right? So that is something that is definitely of
You
value.
might have to move the mic.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean just
Oh,
so they can hear you. So maybe say that one more time.
so I was saying, from the a problem statement standpoint, and the uh, exact uh, way that we function, right? Uh, we see a definite advantage. So ultimately, we are problem solvers, right? So when we solve problem, it is this tool is helping us to solve it better, faster. So we all love it.
That's really quite a through line between you and I, because
Mhm.
as a designer, we say we're problem solvers.
Okay.
That's what we do. We solve problems. Usually they're complicated, gnarly problems. And the more gnarly, the more complicated, the better. And then all of a sudden, we've got this tool that can make sense of things that were harder to make sense of.
Exactly.
And that is a very significant benefit to this world we live in.
Yeah. The problem is that we hear a lot of times, people saying, "Hey, it didn't work for our team," because it creates confusion. So a lot of times, because it's a powerful tool, and if you use it on certain scenarios,
Mm-hmm.
it might not give you the expected result because it's not a magic wand that comes and kind of solves everything.
Right.
You have to apply it on. So it's exactly this exercise, right? In terms of when you look at a problem and picking on what is a problem to solve, you need to set these kind of context right? Is that problem measurable, right? Is it a recurring problem? What is the cost associated with that problem, right? If you don't have these measurements as the baseline, you would not see progress, right? You would be kind of building something, but you will not be kind of uh, we use the term like you just automate a confusion because you're not solving a problem, you just automated something.
So you're
What did
you
you
just adding to the confusion,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah,
You're
if you
making
don't
more
use it right.
noise.
Yeah, if you don't use it right, that is what happens.
Right, right. So
So anybody who is kind of looking to implement a in your in your process, workflows, everything, look at these three aspects. One, is there a measurable quantity with respect to what you're looking at? Then is that problem recurring with respect to what is the frequency that it happens? If it is not, if it's a one-off use case, trying to kind of get to solve that is might not be worth the time, right? Because there's a cost associated with it. Then of course, what is the revenue impact if you implement this particular solution it is to bring in?
so it's not gonna so the whole premise of this talk, at least the
Mhm.
title we inherited, is it real?
Yeah.
If you AI is not going to produce a ta-da, this is the beauty thing that you wanted. It is really all about taking your vision, your expertise, and molding it using this tool. It opens possibilities in a way that you would need maybe several other tools or several other people to contribute, but it is ultimately the creator who is driving this thing.
Yeah.
Do you guys out there, are you developing software? I mean, I know there's a lot of different people, but everyone here is obviously dealing with AI in their life in some way, but in your business, are you sitting with this question of, you can raise your hand if you're sitting with like, what role will AI play in what we're delivering for our customers, our clients? So, and we have a mic. Do you want to maybe someone tell us like what that conundrum is? Like, how does it play out? Like, what is it that you're struggling with in how to incorporate AI into what you're delivering? Does anyone have a moment to do that? Sure.
So, we
Why
have
don't
a
you
team.
Why don't you tell us your name and just quickly
Yes.
what you do?
My name is Banu Ramamurthy. I run Yuga Shift Corporation. It's a CRM consulting firm. Um, we also develop products either on the Salesforce platform or outside of it. Uh, we've been creating a couple of products and have been using AI as an accelerator. I also run uh, managed services for various clients who have Salesforce instances. And as we customize, we do use AI significantly in that. We use tools like Cursor, Claude, and a couple of others as well. Um, Specific to your question, um, it's been definitely, it has been an accelerator.
I'm sorry, it's been a
accelerator. It helps with the pace at which we deliver to our clients, or even in the development cycle. There have been a couple of challenges as well along the road. Um, so one is some of the developers sometimes feel not so empowered or something being taken away from them in terms of the creative aspect. And so there's been a little bit of coaching, mentoring that needs to happen, especially the junior developers. That's one. Um, one thing I personally struggle with is uh, having come up over the years with the traditional apprentice model, right? You have a junior developer, a senior developer, an architect, designer, architect, uh, and they learn under the tutelage of a senior developer, a fresh person, fresh graduate. I think that model is getting broken.
It's broken.
Yes, it is. So that's one, right? The other is on the testing side of things. QA, I think, is not catching up as much as it can. The adoption, it's not a failure of the tool. It's really how we use, and also the non-deterministic aspects of AI requires a very different way to test software. So it's there's a probabilistic attribute to how AI behaves. Uh, the same prompts, the same set of injections will provide a very different result 2 months down the line when you have a different LLM. And so testing really needs to be, I think, in the hands of end users. They need to take more responsibility in the QA aspects. And so that's a little bit of change management as well. So those are my thoughts.
That's great. So just kind of couple of points that you made, like we are also very aligned to that in terms of testing and
in your practice, you're seeing some of these same issues.
So what we are trying to do to counter some of them, especially the testing aspect, is we are trying to kind of so the function of QA previously used to have two practices. There is manual and then there's automation. Of course, with the tools, if developer can write, developers are writing code with these tools, QA also can do it. So mostly all of the manual QA, they are very easily able to transition to an automation. That's first part. So it saves them a lot of time. So that particular time would be kind of getting spent on, uh, you know, uh, these extra efforts that comes in. And a lot of places, what we see right now is directly from the design phase itself, test case generation, and deciding on what functionalities to test. So the entire test process could be right now automated. So that particular thing, previously, looking at a screen or a Figma design and coming up with the test cases, the test plan, all of that. Right now, we have systems to kind of do that. So and now we also talked about automation, right? So the test automation part, all these benefits QA folks are also able to kind of get that advantage. It is just this part he mentioned where the results have a probabilistic angle right now. Now, the best way to solve that is uh, the results need not be hard coded there. So that itself, we can use another SLM kind of verify the probabilistic nature of the particular result. So to be very specific, if there is a simple example, I'll give you a QA job is something like you logged into, say, Gmail. At that time, say, "Hey, welcome," whatever, that message is there. So previously, that message is something that they would check from an automation standpoint. Now, with the generative AI, one day it might say welcome, another day it might say hello, right? So that abstraction verification itself could be given to another SLM. So that is a way that we can kind of counter that.
I just wanted to touch on another part of the question and the conundrum that was presented about talent and how we build people to grow in their career. We find this in our industry, in the design industry. It's really tough out there being young and getting the opportunities that we got because those spaces don't exist the same way. And it sounds like, that's something we share. It got hard with COVID because everything went remote. And, if you want to build a company with people, you build a culture to support that. They're intrinsic in one another. And so that was the first test, these virtual offices. And then all of a sudden, maybe we started going back, and now there's not a need in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
What are the opportunities that we provide? How did we get where we are without those opportunities? Sad. It's disappointing. It's a reality. It has there's nothing we can do about it. But to AI or to not AI, I think it's like adapt or die, essentially. But it's also really important to remember that what we do it comes from a history. It comes from experience. How do we bring people along? I use less people in my business now than I did.
Same is the case with me. And, a couple of days back, there was, a lot of news about, companies reducing size, right? And it is especially tough for these young people because a senior architect level kind of decision making, you might not completely trust AI there. But if it is a junior developer level task, the output from AI is highly consumable, right? So at that point, you need not have the role. The role kind of disappears. Less people are hiring junior level people. The advantage that I have,
the advantage you have,
and the advantage that we have in this situation, right? Or what is going to these millions of graduates who are going to kind of come out, right? This particular question, I asked that to myself because I also have a son who's kind of
he likes to code. Is that he's on his way?
No,
family business. No,
he doesn't. But the interesting part there is that particular training kind of hierarchy that used to happen. I start question: is there a need for it? Because If you look at it, what was getting transitioned at any point of time was knowledge. Right? Now that knowledge is now readily available, right?
It's readily
It's
available.
readily available.
Yeah.
Now the second part is the attitude of the person. You would see two guys who joined a company. Maybe in 5 years' time, one person is an architect, another person is just a senior developer. Why? It's because of both of them are approaching it in different way. One person was very curious. One person always asked, like he used to dig deeper. He could eat the brain of a senior developer, architect, or a CEO if he get a chance, and he will. So it is ingrained in that person, right? Now that same thing is possible with the AI as well. You can dig deep into anybody's mind, right? Now the only thing is there are chances you might get results like hallucination, right? That used to happen before also. The architect whom you talk to or the senior developer who talk to might have shared incorrect information. That chances were always there. So this can happen with AI. So the same thing that you used to do then, you have to do that now also.
Mm-hmm.
You need to verify it with multiple models, and then you need to kind of uh, try and do things and learn from that experience. So the one way to look at is right now. Previously, maybe I started my career with Saskan. It's an Indian company. Then I was with Yahoo. So when I was with Yahoo, I could I was part of this search team and the front page team. So we used to have handle massive billions of traffic because at that time, I mean, not now, but at that time, Yahoo was kind of getting a lot of traffic, right? So those experiences kind of taught me something, and I had access to people who do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of guys, somebody who was fresh out of the college, didn't have the access, so that's why they could not get that outlook. But now anybody who is out of college can ask these questions and get a credible answers. So the learning is now available for everyone. It's democratized. Intelligence is available right now, not just knowledge, right? Previously also you could search in Google and try to find an answer if somebody has written about it, all of that. But it is much more available to you in a very concise format.
So the glass is half full for you in this question?
Yeah, I feel that is a way that we need to approach, right? It's about our perspective. So if a developer or a engineer fresh out of college, if he thinks like there is no opportunity for me, if you look at it that way, you will not learn anything. But you look at this as a tool which gives you all these opportunities, capabilities, knowledge, intelligence. You look at it that way, and you would be able to kind of build something amazing, right? That is definitely happening. Uh, so another thing I see happening is the way that economics works, right? In terms of how money is going to flow through, there is going to be a massive shift there. Okay.
We're getting the light. I know. I can see it. I see it right back here.
So yeah. So but I feel even though there are challenges, I'm baseline I'm positive about this with respect to the opportunities that it provides. It enables people to be more productive, and the way I see it is in fact a couple of months back I written a LinkedIn post also about it, because why we hired why we stopped hiring junior developers. That was my kind of post. A lot of friends call me and like, hey, how could you say that? You yourself kind of was joined as junior developer. I said this is a reality, right? This is the reality. An organization is not going to spend that money because there is no ROI.
No ROI. That's right.
That is what it is. So the only way to do is you need to kind of look at the way in which you come in, you adapt. So that post was mostly to kind of tell the folks who are getting out of college, look at this in that methodology that I described. It enables you to do more and use that wisely to kind of build things. I would be open for a conversation if you show me like, hey, this is something that I built. Then like, and he's showing me credibility that he's able to deliver the work of a 5 year experienced. What did that experience give you over a period of time? It's just knowledge. Now the knowledge is available for you, right? At least in my practice, that is the way I see.
I think we have to wrap. I just would say that in your businesses, don't close opportunity for genius in the people that you work with. Just because it's easier to automate, to accelerate, it doesn't mean that you can't reconfigure the way your business is structured to create opportunities. It's just that the roles are shifting, but you have to invent that as business owners. But the genius that is there has always been there if you're lucky enough to come in contact with it. AI makes it seem like maybe you can avoid some of those problems with those younger people, but I think ultimately it's the culture and what you're going to be able to grow your company with these young, brilliant people. So
you might not be hiring a junior developer, looking at them as a junior developer. You hire them for the value that they bring in, Asif.
Okay, we're clapping.